Hello.
Welcome to the Must Love Yarncast.
We're back.
Right at the end of January. And
2 weeks, only 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later. It feels much longer than 2 weeks.
I do. I feel the same way. Because I just had too many experiences in those 2 weeks.
Yeah, there was a lot of things. There was a lot. It was extra. So by the time this airs or posts at the end of the week, it will be February already.
It will be February 2nd. Go red for women. Wear red on Friday.
Yes.
I guess we should have worn red today, and then it would be Friday when
yeah,
this posts.
That's true.
But, you can't do everything. That's right. We have red
right
present.
There. Right
Read our newsletter. I talked about it briefly in our newsletter.
I skimmed the newsletter, clearly missed that section.
Right. I was explaining to people that they could knit some nice red things between now and Friday if they hurried in here, and or Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day.
Got it.
Got it. Cool. Some pretty options in there.
So welcome.
Here we are.
This is a yarn cast about yarn and knitting and occasionally crochet.
Lots of other.
It's a little things. Light on the crochet these days since
most
I
days.
tried that.
I think maybe
that Christmas ornament that's still in timeout.
Mm-hmm.
And we are here at our yarn shop in Shelburne, Vermont, where you can buy a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today. Though I will say, Jen and I had a little bit of like, oh my god,
I got a little bit. Like, I got some stuff.
Yarn that we don't actually have here. So anyway, so you can find
I did pretty good.
Store,
now that I look around.
Yeah, you did. You're better than me.
All right.
You can find the store on social media as Must Love Yarn. And I'm Angela.
I'm Jen.
And you can find me out on social media, Instagram and Ravelry as Junior Bird Kid.
And I am on Ravelry as J Arbuckle and on Instagram as Jennifer_Arbuckle.
Yep. And you'll find some knitting content on those personal pages of ours, but there's lots of other stuff. If you want just purely yarn and fiber related content, the store is the place to follow for those. So we like to start this yarn cast with our yarn cast pick, and the way this works is we're going to show you a yarn, and for 2 weeks following the airing of this podcast, there was just a yarn avalanche, and that might have to be our title.
I never quite find where the sweet spot is in the camera, right?
I know, right? So the way this will work is for the 2 weeks following the airing of the podcast, so from February 2nd to the 16th, you can get 10% off online or in store with the code that we'll give you on the podcast today, Yarncast today, whatever this is that we have. And so this yarn is one that we've had before, and I am sure that we have shown it before and made it a Yarncast pick, but we have a restock. And so we always get super excited when we see some of our favorites come back in. This was, we had some challenges getting this for a while, but it is back.
It's back.
It's back. So this is Schopel Edition 3. And this is a really fun barber pulley spin cycle-esque type yarn that has a very nice price point to it. So these little 50-gram skeins retail for $13.50, and so they're super fun for little colorwork projects. Like you could.
This is what we need to throw over there to keep the light on.
You could do a traveler's cowl out of this. You can do lots of color work. I've seen some alpine bloom hats that have used.
I forgot we had our example over here.
And we did bring our mannequin, one of our tabletop mannequins over.
Jeez, sorry.
Because this is the Illuminate sweater. And it's knit out of the Edition 3 and Barocco Ariel. So it used 5 skeins of Edition 3 and 4 skeins of the Barocco Ariel. But it's striped, it's got some color work. A little better. It's, very subtle. But, this is the kind of thing you can do with this yarn. With a garment.
This one wasn't. You did this intentionally to be matchy, right?
Yeah.
Not matchy, but like close and
instead of high contrast, I wanted it to be more subtle. But you can see for the cuffs, the Edition edition 3.
You can see it up here in the color work too.
Yep. It's incredibly subtle.
Such a pretty color, this sweater. I like it.
Yeah.
Oops. You've probably never even worn it, have you? It's
No,
like
I haven't.
Living in the store ever
It's
since.
been here. So we have a bunch of different colors. We're not even sure that we grabbed all of the
It's kinda
colors
hard.
because they're one of those ones like Noro where could be the
Who
same
knows what
colorway,
the
could be
outside,
not,
what's the inside like?
right? So, you know, as you can see, we have a pretty good selection of a bunch of different colorways.
100% superwash wool.
Yep. Really fun.
really nice.
I've used this
Soft.
stuff for a bunch of different projects.
Yeah, it's a great word.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So again, $13.50. You'll get 10% off with the code YP Edition 3. That's the number 3.
Okay. Okie dokie. That sounds like a
So,
good choice.
yeah. Oops. So I throw my pen down on the table. We know that when stuff hits this table, it is loud. Apologize
I'm sorry.
in advance.
It is what it is.
Right.
Yes. We do our best
To
to be
mindful.
auditorily sensitive, but
Yes.
sometimes stuff happens.
It does. Stuff happens. So, and Jen, what are you wearing today?
I am wearing the Simi Dima by Rosemary Romy Hill. It's a kit that I bought at, what was that we did? We did something. Sorry. When Kelly and I went to, oh golly, TNNA maybe?
Oh, yep.
They had like this, I would call it a free-for-all of manufacturer direct things that you could buy. And so this was a kit that I bought, and it
Cool.
is it's a little bit scratchy. I'm trying to find the pattern, and it does not want to pop up here. Well, anyway, you can see it. So the kit came with all the different colors in it. It's wool.
Oh,
and,
nice.
Yeah, it's really pretty. So it's mosaic knitting and some lace and some whatever. There's 5 or 6 different colors in there. I was just telling Ange before when we sat down that I normally wear it with a turtleneck because it does a little bit scratchy. It's really soft, so it's not, but when you wear it for too long,
and like right next to your skin.
yeah, it
I
just
can
gets a
see
little
that.
scratchy. But I do like it because I love the colors in it. And especially when it's like damp and cold, it's very cozy.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm wearing.
Awesome.
Yeah. We'll link to it in show notes because the name is a little hard to hear
Yep.
properly.
I am wearing an oldie. I had to go way back into my project page, down way at the bottom. This is Dark and Stormy
I was trying to remember what it was
by
called.
Thea Coleman.
Yeah.
So it's got cable detail. It's got a big cable panel on the back as well.
Pretty sweater.
Super fun. I'm pretty sure it's a merino silk blend for the yarn. So it's a little floppy, like this really, with the shawl collar, like wants a real stiff yarn to stand up. But
These.
yeah, but I
But then it would
didn't.
rub the back of your neck.
Yeah, so this does not rub the back of my neck and irritate it. So it's super warm. It's nice for these days.
Where it's just damp and cold.
Yep, exactly.
And a little icy.
Fun knit. Thea Coleman's patterns are always fabulous.
Yeah.
And always have lots of cable. It can turn around so you guys can see the cable detail on the back there. Nice big cable panel. It's super fun to knit. So.
Yeah, you have had that one. Yeah.
For a really long time.
Like before we opened the store, so I feel like not too long before, maybe. 9 or 10
bought
years ago.
this yarn at Rhinebeck,
That's what I was trying to remember.
and I can't remember which trip, but it was one of the really early trips.
Yeah.
Because I think the company that I bought it from doesn't. I mean, I suppose I could look up on my project page what yarn it is. But I feel like that they aren't even at Rhinebeck anymore. So it's a. I made it a long time ago.
Right, I was looking on the wrong thing. So this is Elemental FX Natural Shetland Fingering Weight.
Okay.
It smells good. Yeah, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different colors, actually. Huh, who would have thought? And some of those colors may look familiar because I use some of the leftovers in my yoke clock.
Oh, all right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. That's why I was trying to remember what it was.
I was gonna see if I could find this.
It's hard because Ravelry, like, unless you
There it is.
name your, you know how they ask you what the name of your project is? And I sometimes don't write in the name of the pattern. Early on, I was like, oh, I need something creative for this. And now I've learned that it's a lot easier if I just write in the name of the pattern because then I can look it up.
So it's Brooks Farm Yarn. It's their trio, which is a wool alpaca silk blend.
It's a pretty color.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, it's a really nice gray.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, dark and stormy, and I made this in 2014.
Yeah.
A while ago.
I was going to say, when did I make this? Just now, out of curiosity.
Right?
It's funny how.
This is almost a decade old.
2014. So that was a year before we opened the store.
Yep.
And I did this 2016. It was finished in 2017. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was right. It was that first show we went to when we opened for retailers.
Yep. Which I did not go to because
That's right, because you were having a baby.
Abigail, or was ready to have Abigail. So.
That's right.
Yes.
Indeed.
No traveling for me.
Right. Not then, anyways.
No. Traveling for me now.
Right.
Sometimes with kids, sometimes without kids.
That's right.
So I see a finished object over there.
I have a finished object. I finished my mitts when I was at my conference in Florida.
Nice. You probably needed them when you were down there.
Almost. The people there were as usual. They're used to my knitting, and they're always very curious. But they are really nice, actually.
Those are awesome.
Cashmere, which is lovely. So what's really interesting is only when I was done, there's a mistake on both of them. So you can see if you can see it. There's a double cable detail, and I only did a single one there. And then I did the same exact thing on the other one, but in a different
spot.
I think so. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I didn't do it on this one. I thought I saw it on both of them, but anyway. I guess I didn't do it on this one because they all look correct. So anyway, they are very soft and cozy, and they were really fun to knit. And these are the Interwoven Mitts by Katie H. Carroll.
Nice. And did I use one skein of that or two?
It was like 1 1/4 or 1 1/2 maybe. Okay. These are small 25-gram skeins.
Right.
So it was more than 1 and less than 2. And I chose, there's 2 lengths to this pattern. So she has one version that has a really long cuff. And I did the shorter version.
Okay.
So you probably could do the long ones with
yeah.
and not run out of yarn with the 2 skeins.
2 skeins.
Yeah, but I like a long cuff, but these really were long enough for me.
Yep.
So the long ones would go a little further up your arm.
Nice.
Yeah, they are fun to knit. A kind of perfect conference knitting, even with the cable needle.
Right.
And the slight distraction.
And sometimes the cables are
these are easy cables.
Yeah,
if
it's an easy cable pattern, you can do while you're distracted or have other things going on because
you go 8 rows. Well, this one is a little trickier because it's in between. You do one. Yeah, like there's one, but then there's not one, and so but there's 20 rows between or something like that between the cables. So
awesome.
I highly recommend. They look more complicated than they are, and so they're kind of a nice gift knit for someone, I think. Probably.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of hats.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you may have seen the Sparkle Smush hat. This is Sparkle Smush hat number 2, which used for the brim the sparkle yarn and the
palettes.
Palettes and the alpaca. I knew I didn't have enough for another hat, so I bought some This is from the store. Some the Sofio, which is like the Sofio cashmere blend. To knit that, and I had enough to even do like a pom pom.
I love that pom pom.
Sparkles in the pom pom.
It's awesome. They really show up there. It's kind of funny.
I know, right? Isn't it? It's fun.
Yeah.
My child has deemed it itchy.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's the alpaca. They're not the mohair. So I may line it with some fleece, though with the folded brim that's a little bit challenging.
Yeah.
And it got real tight with the cast on. For some reason, I did change from knitting in the round to knitting magic loop. So I don't know if that's like I'm tighter magic loop. So I don't know. So she wore it for a couple of pictures and then was like, it's itchy. So here we are. I have the world's cutest sparkle hat that is not getting worn. But I did. Oh, look, those.
Where's his hour ball? That didn't work. All right.
Nothing's working.
What is the?
What's the trigger? Who's the trigger?
Way over here behind us? That doesn't
I don't
make
know.
any sense.
Who knows?
Let's not forget those.
So I got some non-itchy, like 100% acrylic yarn, and made the knit stitch beanie.
That's cute.
Which is what this is, and I had to beg her to let me take this today.
Yeah, it's super cute.
She's all in with it.
Oh, it's so funny, right? Yeah.
Right.
It's a cotton blend. It feels like it's got.
It's not. It's
all acrylic.
Like all acrylic.
Really? It feels kind of cottony.
Actually, let me double check. It's
No.
It's
It's
a Lion brand.
It's hefty.
One of their. Yes, it's not. Yes, it is super hefty. Right?
Well, I guess because it's stranded too. It's so cute, that pattern.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's adorable.
And the little ombre.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So that is Lion brand Landscapes Renewed. The purple yarn, and that's 100% polyester.
Oh, interesting.
Right? It doesn't feel like it at all.
They did something to make it like feel.
It feels like a single ply. The white is Lion brand DIY Glow. I think technically this is supposed to glow in the dark.
Oh.
Also, maybe 100% polyester.
Now the lights stay on.
Right?
We want them to go off so we can see if it glows in the dark.
I have not seen it glow in the dark, but that's...
Does it need to sit under a bright light for like a day and a half to charge?
Probably. I don't know.
That would be fun. Super fun.
So, yeah, just, some more like happened to be at Joann's, saw the glow in the dark yarn. And then this, I think I had maybe already
I own a yarn
ordered.
store, and yet somehow, in order to get yarn for my daughter, I have to go to Joann's.
Go to Joann's to buy acrylic yarn.
Children.
Right? But isn't it cute? It looks
cute.
like a little knit stitch. You could reverse these and do the colored part as the knit stitch and do the white yarn or lighter colored yarn as the background. This does have an intentional folded brim, so it's got a little pearl bow to tuck it up. Yeah. But she's been
that's a nice hat.
Wearing this one a lot.
I think it's nice to have like the gradation, like to have a solid color and then to have you could do a pattern.
You could use one of
these guys. That would be fun, and then have the white against it.
This is a worsted weight pattern, but you could probably adjust it pretty easily. So
just
anyway,
get a multiple of whatever.
Yeah. So I think it's
fun.
Like a 6.
That's a nice pattern.
6 pattern repeat or something. Super easy.
I think it's nice because it's like it just has a really nice pattern to it, effect to it, and then you're like, oh, it's a knit stitch on top of it. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's got an inside joke for the knitters, and everyone else is just like, ooh, that's a cool
pretty.
hat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I might make a pom-pom at some point, but I haven't even gotten, like, it came off the needle. She's like, is that for me? And I was like, yeah, if you want it, and like, away it went.
It's funny too because it does feel heavy, not heavy like in a bad way, but it's just when I picked it up,
it's really thick
because this guy is like super soft
lightweight
and light and
lofty,
fluffy, and
I mean, you would know this was on your head. This you could probably forget that it was on your head.
Yeah,
it's
I can see
like,
these things might be a little
sketchy. Yeah, I don't know.
the rest of it.
everything's itchy and everything's spicy. So she's that kid.
Yeah,
So.
because otherwise it's very soft and sweet.
Right? I was like, it's cashmere. What do you mean it's itchy?
Right. Right. And honestly, this pom-pom, like that
So
pom-pom is awesome.
amazing. I might take the pom-pom off of that and put it on this one. Could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Would work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you could, do you have any more of this?
Mm-hmm.
You could mix that with the...
I'm all out of those sparkles.
Oh my goodness.
Like, this was the actual last of the sparkles.
So you got a hat and a half, basically.
Yeah.
I know pom-poms take a lot, so... Yeah.
This was just a few. I had just a few
okay.
extra little wraps in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not much. Not much.
Meanwhile, Stellaris.
Right?
Gift that keeps on giving. It never stops.
Never ending.
I'm very curious what's going to be left after I finish my sweater.
Yeah. So those
Because there'll be some left, I'm quite sure.
Those are like my little palette cleansers the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
From my other stuff that's going on over here.
Yes.
So.
This was my take it to the conference knitting, and that's exactly what it was for.
Yeah.
Just nothing else I had was terribly portable, although I did bring those socks, and I got going on those. But.
Nice. So what? How are your whipses going?
I have 3. So January. January. So close. 3 days left or 4 days left.
Oh, look at all that purple.
Well, the
And
purple,
gray.
is that the right side or the wrong side? That's the right side. I've got the wrong side facing me. Although they're interchangeable. It's just, sorry, yes. On the one side, you can see the pearl bumps where you change color. And also, I've woven the ends in, but roughly, until I wash it the first time and until I do the seaming. But, so the gray is below 0, a little bit of an extrapolation. The purple is 0 to 15 degrees. The darker blue, which is funny because you can't really see it until you look. The darker blue is 15 to 30 degrees, and the other lighter blue, which I'm on now, is to 30 degrees. Lots of 30-degree days in January.
Yep.
Which is not the way it's supposed to be.
This is very weird.
Then warm. But also, it's interesting because there's quite a mixture of cold and whatever. So this is obviously last weekend.
Yeah.
So I did decide that if there was a wind chill that was below 0, that counted. Because the temperature was like 5 or 10 or something, but the wind chill was below. There was one day where it was actually below 0.
I think that was Saturday.
Saturday night, maybe, or Sunday morning when I got up, it was -1. And then the wind chill was...
You're like, I'm calling it.
Right. Exactly. So the fun part is that the middle of the week, I had a moment I got to like right about here, and I was like, so if I'm decreasing 4 stitches every day, because there's 4 rows and 2 of them are decreased rows, 2 on one on each side of the center, I was like, wait, maybe I don't have enough, maybe I'm going to run out. And then I was like, no, you idiot, I was counting these stitches instead of as if I was taking 4 every day out of one side, but really it's 1 on each side. Anyway, so when I run out of days, it'll probably be right about there. And so there'll be a little white square in the corner, and then the white will be used to do the binding. So
cool.
It'll be interesting. So
nice.
I'll get to start a new one on Thursday. I've been pretty good about not doing it every single day because I was traveling and I didn't bring it with me, obviously. But most days, because it's, especially now, it takes like 3 minutes to do.
Right,
because I'm so close at the end. The other ones took a little bit longer to do, but less than half an hour every day.
Awesome.
I think even with the big ones. So
fun.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah. And I love these colors. I was kind of hoping for a 40-something degree day, but it has to be 45 to get to the green. So, yeah. Because of the 15-degree spread.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
It's a lot of degree, but, you know. Yeah.
So I see we both have made some progress on our...
You probably have a whole sock done.
Well, almost.
I guess technically I have kind of almost. I have
most.
Yeah.
I am in the toe decrease section. This is such a weird looking sock right now.
Does yours look big to you? Like these toes look big to me. I can't decide. And this is small because it gets bigger. Like in this
Right.
arch section, I've added stitches.
This looks pretty normal. She takes the toe down to 16 stitches and
But look
on
how
the
wide
top
mine is
down.
compared to yours.
Yep. What size needles are you knitting
A
on?
1?
How many do you have around?
Like 60?
Oh, really? Because that's mine are on a 1.5 and
So this is
60.
tight knitter versus pretty loose knitter. Yeah. I guess it's only half an inch. That makes me feel better,
Yeah,
actually,
it's
to see
about a
that.
half an inch.
Well, an
difference.
inch total, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Um,
Mine will definitely, they probably are going to be too big for me. That's what I think. But that's fine. They'll go to my niece, maybe.
are not. I tried it on last night. It has a very interesting fit, and my foot was really sweaty when I put it on, and so the sock, I was having a hard time
They're very
getting the
tall
sock
stitches. Tall socks.
lined up, and so I think it was kind of sideways because my foot was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Yes, and it's very tall.
Yeah, so I will
leg.
see.
This is like the heel right here.
Yeah, I don't know that I want the leg to be quite that tall. So, but the joy for me is that I'm doing toe up,
You're
so
doing
I
toe
can
up.
measure.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So
pretty
I've started
close.
that. You can see that I've started the arch, whateverness. I will say, doing 2 at a time, her chart things or whatever, and I'm not using the chart because that's too confusing for me. I'm using the written lines. It's kind of weird because
you're only knitting
because
half the socks.
and also the way she did the written part.
Yeah.
And I would rather have all of that on one side rather than split, but she split it this way, and I can't. I mean, I suppose I probably could, but I would have to reposition everything in order to get there, and that would be incredibly annoying.
Right.
So
It's a
it's
lot
fine.
of brain power.
But each time, so on my charts, I just am writing down on the, how many stitches are left over.
Right.
Because each round starts in the middle of the front now.
Right.
So I know there's 15 stitches here. So she says knit 24. I know that there's 8 on the back side before I start the patterning. So it's fine. But it's a little bit, so I have like all these little handwritten notes on my thing to remind me of where I'm starting. It's easier to have the whole row of purl, make one, left, right, whatever
all
thing,
on
all
one
on one
side.
side.
Yeah.
But, and basically it means I go across, I'll knit, and then I do the weird, and then it's easier. So, but it does require a little bit of whatever.
Well,
so,
you have to really pay attention to what you're doing.
This was not meant for 2 at a time toe up, so that's my own problem for creating it. But look at those happy colors.
Those are happy.
And also they don't, did you notice that they're inverted?
Yes.
So I divided the yarn in half. And what's interesting to me is that it is kind of, I think, almost exactly in half. And so, because they both have about the same amount of pale green. And then one goes into the blue and one goes into the reds. And now I'm flipping them. So they're going to be inverted from each other, which is fine. Cool. That's because of the way I wound the whole yarn and then I wound the other ball off of and went backwards.
Yeah.
So the stripes are good.
I love that it keeps the stripe sequence all the way down.
Yeah, and now that you can sort of calculate how tall you would want that to be.
Maybe a little less
cuff.
It's really tall.
I noticed that a few of the ones that are done already on our Ravelry page are shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they did toe up and they were like, that's enough.
Yes, I may make the same decision because I don't really love a tall sock. So.
It's not my favorite, but I feel like,
I'm going to try them on and then I'll know.
I'll do one set like this and then see where things are. It's very interesting construction.
It is.
Lots of math went into making this pattern for sure.
Yeah.
It's very cool though.
Yeah. It'll be, yeah.
Yes, definitely one you have to pay attention to. Well, not
and of course, so I finished my gloves, and I did bring these with me, and I was knitting on them one day because I was just going around and around until I got to the persnickety part, and then I was like, oh yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
So then I had a, I don't know, couple hour flight, 3-hour flight, and I was like, all right, I'm going in. And because I could just sit in my chair and focus.
I'm gonna wind, probably, I was gonna do it before I left here, but I probably, by the time we wrap up, I will end up just doing it at home. Because I have to cast on something that I can just take on the go. Like, that's a small project.
And these socks, once you get, at certain points they are, but at some points they are definitely not.
The top down ones are not at all.
Like, cuff, right?
No, because it's a patterned rib. And the rib change, like it's like it's almost the whole thing is.
Yeah, because there's like 3 inches on the toes that once you get past the, whatever, even that's pretty straightforward.
But I think I just need like a vanilla sock or a hat or something.
Yeah.
To just walk places to go with me because.
You have athletic things to do.
I do, and right now I don't. I mean, I could take Birkin. I can pull Birkin out because I'm at a place where, but it's a larger project, and so it's not.
I can't bring my sweater with me because it's a cone.
Right, that is a downside.
There's a limit to how many places I'm going to go with my bag. My bag of yarn.
Giant cone of yarn.
I knew going in that was a hazard of this pattern of doing this yarn this way, but there'll be no ends.
That's true.
Keep reminding myself of.
That's true.
It's actually been pretty straightforward so far. And at a certain point when I'm not doing the color work, it'll be easier, but yeah, you've made good progress.
So that light up front just came on with whatever you were doing.
Well, sometimes I'll drive by at night when no one's been here for hours and it's on. Yeah, so I think every now and then like a headlight or something happens. Yeah.
So I've divided for the sleeves and have gotten about a couple of inches.
So you're at the point where you can just...
Yeah, because it's just, oodles of knitting around on, like, US 3s. Because it does not sound amazing.
Fingering,
Oh, my God. But the color work is all done.
So pretty.
So pretty.
Yeah.
I did not...
It's funny how little there is... Oh, you didn't have to
I did not have to go into that skein. I still have...
Ooh! The teensiest tiny amount.
Ball of yarn.
It's like a Christmas tree ornament now.
Right? I did not end up playing the yarn chicken that I thought I was going to.
No, and you didn't need the extra skein of that, so I have a little skein of that line.
Right, because I still have this much.
Quite a bit.
A lot. Yeah, they were 30-gram skeins.
Oh, right, you said that.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a lot, actually.
Yeah, because I weighed it. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's around and around and around we go forever.
Yeah, it's pretty though. Oh, it's nice and soft.
Oh yeah, it's a nice. It's a BFL.
It's Earl Grey, right?
Earl Grey fibers. Yep. Where's the tag? Earl Grey Fiber Company. They're a Somme sock, which is 100% superwash BFL. In the colorway When Doves Cry.
It's very soft.
It is soft. Yeah. And it'll get softer like when it gets washed.
Yeah.
As well. And BFL is like a pretty sturdy yarn. It doesn't pill a huge amount.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. But there we go. 3-color Birkin, I guess, because we have sparkle yarn and non-sparkle yarn in the main color. So
it's interesting. It's not like super sparkly. Like it is.
You can
a little
see
bit.
It catches your eye, and then you're like, "Wait, what? Why is that sparkling?"
Yeah,
it's very subtle. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a travel project, but it's in a like sweaters at some point.
They just feel they're too bulky.
Big.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so making some good progress. I have all these things on these tiny needles. Which is why I was doing like worsted weight hats.
Well, and so for me, because I've been so loose on my last few projects, I went down a needle size for everything. I went down on those socks, and even then, but the fabric on the socks feels fine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it's loose or.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned about what that ribbing stuff is going to feel like because my feet are very cranky about. They don't even love the pearl bump sometimes. So.
Yeah, my feet are like that.
Unless they're really tightly knit socks. So that's why I usually knit on a 1. And then I was like, wow, why is this so... Anyway, I like the fabric. So I don't really feel like they need to be tighter. But I'm not knitting socks on a 0. Right? craziness. I guess people do. But
We do.
anyway,
Yep.
so this is coming along because I was gone last week for 5 days or whatever. You know, I missed a chunk of time. But I think last time I was up
You
here
were
somewhere.
only, up in there. So
you can
you're
start to
trekking
see
along.
the I'm.
See the green.
It's interesting. Like up close, you can and you can sort of see, but it's kind of interesting.
Again, very subtle.
Yeah, I like it actually. I was not for a while there. I was like, I don't know what this is really looking like, but I do think there's enough contrast. At first, I was concerned that the green was muting the contrast between the turquoise and the whatever, but I don't think so either now. And I think once the whole fish is done, it'll be really fun.
Yeah.
But that's the tail of the fish right here. So I
got some more color work to do there.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through, I think, the chart. Where'd it go? Not quite. And I have a couple more increase rounds, which is good because, I don't know, I haven't tried this on it. Well, I mean, there's nothing to try on yet.
I haven't tried mine on at all. I just lived dangerously and be like, nah.
And I didn't do a swatch at all.
No.
But I feel like this is the right fabric. I wouldn't want it to be any tighter than that. So, and I went down a whole needle size because everything has just been so loose. Everything I've knit lately.
And I, for a long time, would go up a needle size, and I've loosened up to the point where I'm just using what
now
the pattern recommends. And that's usually I'm getting a fabric that I'm like, and I'm happy with.
I tell you, it's like this weird hand over
yeah,
here.
it is.
Where is it?
I have no idea.
It's right there. Why is it like?
I don't know. Maybe that's not it. It's got to be.
The little flat one?
Yeah.
Oh, that might be a sprinkler head.
No, I think
the flat one. The other one is a smoke detector.
Yeah, that's got to be that. It doesn't make any sense that it would be anything but that.
Yeah.
Anyway, who knows?
Yeah. Sorry. So anyway, I'm chugging along. I'm enjoying the color work on this, so I'll be happy. But as usual, you get to a point you're just like, okay, anytime now. But I'm starting the body of the fish, so that will be exciting, and then we'll see. I feel like it's going to fit pretty well, actually. It's kind of a loose sweater, anyways, and you know me, I don't mind loose. So if I have to, take it back in again, I will. It'll be fine.
Awesome.
Yeah, the neck is. At first, I was concerned that the neckline was too tight, and then I went on to the larger cable, and I was like, nope, it's not too tight, but I think it'll be fine. It might be. It's kind of a loose.
Like a wider neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's fine. It won't. This is also a little prickly. Not prickly, but it's soft. But it's
definitely a farm yarn.
And once I wash it the first time, I think it really will bloom because I've seen other sweaters that people have made with this, and it gets softer. But so it's not something I want on my neck anyways. Right. So I would be wearing a shirt underneath it, and I'll be happier about that. So.
Yes.
So that's that. I wasn't planning to do these little gloves, so they snuck in there. But I have my 3 projects, and I'm just knitting them.
Focused.
Yes, although in my brain I have to be like, nope. I'm knitting these things.
I feel like there's another hat that's gonna just happen because
you want to make an alpine bloom hat.
I do want to make an alpine bloom hat.
I don't blame you. They're really pretty.
So pretty. And it would be not a traveling project because hello chart, but very quick.
Yeah.
And it's DK. I think that one's DK weight, so it would be pretty fast.
Yeah, I've seen a few things lately that I want to make, but also I have a lot of whips and I've been eyeballing them again lately thinking that I would like to work on them. So, but I'm focused.
I noticed that Jonquil is still on the simmering list here for me, which is that little red like pieced cardigan. I think even if I busted it out and it's going to be too small for the child.
Where were you
intended for?
Because maybe you could make it bigger.
I'd have to check to see.
But you had started the back at the very least, right?
Yeah.
So it's but she's pretty tall and skinny.
I don't know.
It just maybe would need to be longer. It may not need to be bigger around, right? You could check.
No, that's the this direction, not this direction.
Yes, she has her dad's physique.
Yes, she does. So yeah, I have to relook at the pattern because it's knit in pieces. So
That's why I was thinking you
feel
could
like
make it.
it's-
Yeah.
But I think I'm beyond the point to make it tall, and it's cabled, so those sometimes are
Oh,
challenging for adding length to because the cable pattern's set sometimes. So.
I thought it just had cables around the bottom. Excuse me, and that it was solid. I obviously have no memory really. I just remembered that it was red and that it was.
Yeah, really bright red. I should bust that one out because that's a nice I think it's modern cotton.
You could add a
Nice for
color to
summer.
it to make it longer, maybe like a
That's
stripe.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
I have some leftover of the Lion Brand rainbow stuff from the other sweater that I
Oh yeah,
made.
yeah.
And I am considering doing like a striped
Mhm.
cardigan of some sort with some other odds.
Has she
and
worn that
ends.
other cardigan?
Yeah, she's been wearing them.
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah. So I might do that.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
we'll see.
The nice thing about kids' clothes is that they're quick,
They are,
even though she's
so
tall.
she's like in like size 10 steps.
Height. It's all height, right?
Got legs for miles
And it must hang
and
on
a
her.
torso
And they-
for miles.
Yeah. And they must hang on like the width around there, just
A little bit.
loose and drapey. She probably looks like a fashion model because she's got that physique.
She looks really good in slim fit because they fit her.
Yeah.
But without being like crazy tight.
Yeah.
Lots of like athletic leggings.
Yeah. My niece
which
is
ag-
tall also, and she always
Yeah.
she wears leggings. I mean, even now as a teenager, I
Yeah.
think that's all she wears actually. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to imagine.
Yeah.
I appreciate the comfortableness, but the concept is a little. Yeah.
Whatever works.
She has a different shape than I am, though.
My older child is still wearing Crocs in the middle of the winter, even when it's snowing out. So that's a thing too for that age group.
Yeah.
So, and no coat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been cold.
Like, all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. We did go watch hockey this weekend, and he did wear a coat to hockey. So,
Oh.
because it's cold in the rink.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah.
I could also wind up the yarn I got to make the fox grape
Oh, yeah.
mitts. That would also
Actually,
be a good project.
when I was just glancing at the table, that's what I thought that was.
Oh,
That
yeah.
hat, yeah.
Because I think it's, the yarn's down here. I was commenting to myself when I came in that apparently this basket that I bring my yarn cast stuff in has become the catch-all for just random stuff.
Is there a cat toy in there?
No, but...
A dog squeaky toy.
One better. There's a microwavable heating pad. I don't know why that's
Not like
in
that's
there.
a lightweight thing to cart around with you.
Why is this so heavy? There's like some wrapping paper, and I don't know what's going on in that basket. Clearly, it needs to get cleaned up. I have this vintage
Yeah.
I need to wind
Mm-hmm.
so I can make those mittens. That's
Those
also
might be
fun.
that might be a good small project. I
Yeah.
know they're color work, but
Yeah,
is it an easy pattern color
I
work?
don't think so. I feel like it was only like 1-2 pages of
Yeah.
pattern, so it's got to be pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm. And they're small. Mitts
And
are
they're
small.
small. They're good travel projects.
Yeah.
The question would be if I had the right needle size for Magic Loop. I'm on this Magic Loop kick. Because with the hats, I don't have to go find double points if I'm Magic Looping. Like that's revolutionized my hat knitting game here.
Mm-hmm.
Not having to go track down the set of double points.
It's funny. I had the socks here yesterday, and we had this customer who I just loved yesterday. She's a young was and she came in and she's like, "I'm a new knitter and I'm knitting a sweater."
Oh,
And I was like,
awesome.
"Okay." And I was like,
Fabulous.
She said, and I got to a point on the sleeve, and I feel like the needle is too big. And I was like, "Yep, that would happen because And she's like, and I said, "Well, what pattern are you using?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm not using a pattern. I'm making it up." And I was like, "Wow,
Amazing.
awesome!" And so we had a whole conversation, and I was like, "So to make smaller circumference knitting, these are your 3 choices. You can do Magic Loop." And so I was showing her
The sock.
because I had the sock, even though it's 2 at a time. Still, I had it, and I could
Right.
show her the concept. And then in the end, she bought double points and I said, but they're going to feel like a hedgehog, when you're new to knitting. There's needles everywhere.
Yeah.
But we have those wooden basic ones that are a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So, or those small, the tiny little
9-inch
needles,
or 12-inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
some people
anyway, I sent her off, and
those,
she's gonna
I
figure
can't.
out what she's doing and come back. And she showed me a picture. She had her sweater on, like the vest of it
Amazing.
on. It looked great.
Amazing.
Fit her perfectly. Yeah,
Awesome.
I was impressed.
That's amazing.
Taught herself to knit off the internet, and
I love
first
it.
project ever. I was like, oh my god,
That's like my kind of people, right there.
Right.
That's me.
That's right.
That's totally me.
Yeah. So,
Maybe I didn't start with a sweater, but I am self-taught
Yeah.
and
yeah.
really never learned that there's experience levels. Like if I saw something I wanted to make, I was just like, I'm gonna make that.
Yeah.
Like,
I did the same thing in terms of like knitting whatever I wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
but it is funny because now I'll go back and I'll either look at it, or if it's a whip that's been sitting there for
Yeah.
8 or 9 years, I'll be like, I'll go back and I'll dig it out and I'll be like, what was I doing?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there's an easier way to do that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Totally.
really funny. But that just comes with experience too. So it's completely fine.
Yeah.
But, and I think back to all the color work things that I wanted to make. And so I made them. And, now knitting with, both hands to do color work, it's so much faster,
yeah,
so much easier.
faster.
The number of times that I've untwisted my yarn and
Yeah.
all of that. But still,
And for
everything
me,
comes
just
in
making
cycles,
the
right?
adjustment for how to hold the yarn and my hands, and it's been a lot of practice to get that. Now I can knit continental if I want to. Because that wasn't that when you're a self-taught knitter, you just do whatever and you don't realize that there's like ergonomics to it, and you're like, why do my hands hurt, or why can't I do this for very long? And it does take some adjustments to
my grandmother taught me to knit, and she knit English style, I think. And then when I picked it back up again, I bought a how-to book at Joann's or I don't know, one of those places, and it came in a little kit with a ball of yarn and some needles, and because I wanted to know whether I really wanted to pick it back up again. My sister had been knitting, and so I knit 2 scarves, and by then I was ready to go. Never stopped.
I'm in. Yeah. So I have like a weird, it's like a almost like a pick / throw technique.
I'm a thrower.
I definitely am a thrower, but it's a weird. It's not like a normal. Cadence.
It's fast though.
I am fast
because you are much faster than I am.
Super
knitting.
fast with it. Only at times slowed down by my interchangeables coming unscrewed, which happens a lot, and I think it's just how I move my.
Do you tighten them or not?
I do tighten them, and
because I didn't for the longest time because I couldn't be bothered. I couldn't find the little thingy or whatever.
Nope, it'll happen
now
even if I tighten. It doesn't matter whether I hand tighten them or whether I use the tool.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
I have found that the tool keeps. They do eventually come undone, but they stay. They stay on faster, longer. They keep coming undone on this, which is weird. I'm knitting flat, but
so in love with these Chigu long cord magic loop for everything right now. I heart them. I heart them so much because the yarn doesn't catch. There's no
the joints are really nice.
The joints are nice. There's no catches there. You're not dealing with things coming unscrewed, which are the 2 things that slow me down when I'm knitting. It's having to constantly.
Yeah, I will say
messing around
these. I only had the size 1. These are like Knit Picks needles, and I got partway through, and all of a sudden the needle came off of one of them, and I was like, oh. What's happening here? And I shoved it back in, and it has not happened again. And they seem both to be pretty tight. And this one's the loose one. And so I've been looking, and we don't have a size 1 in Xiaogu right now, because if I'm going to buy myself, I'm going to buy the nice needles.
Right.
And also the other thing I like about them is sometimes the small, 40-inch ones or 32-inch ones, the needles are really long on them, and I prefer them. I don't need my needles to be like this long on my circulars. This is fine, and I actually think they should be a little shorter. But the zings, the needles are long on the ones, and so I And 40 is the right length for 2 at a time toe up, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
32 is a little too short.
32 is good for just standard magic loop.
Yeah.
And in fact, when
if you're doing
have
one
some
sock,
that are
if you're doing
40,
one but doing 2 socks, you need
Yeah.
the extra couple inches.
I have some that are 40 and I'll magic loop it, and I'm fighting with the cord because the
cord is
cord's like all
yeah.
over the place.
Well, those cords also don't turn.
Yeah.
They don't twist quite as much.
Yeah, which is
nice.
also why I like them.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, the 32 inches like the magic length for magic loop. But I'm not doing. If I was doing 2 at a
If
time,
you're doing 2,
you'd need 40.
trust me, because
Yeah.
I bought a size 1 that's a 32 inch one, and
Yeah,
I was
no.
like, oh, this is all tight.
Yeah.
Yes, it was possible, but
Yeah.
then I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
all right, what else do we have?
That's all. There's still classes. There's a few spots for classes, but those have been filling up like super fast, and they're getting ready to start here. So
They're
we're
underway.
already in them for some of them.
Yeah, we have some others that start
just
later in
in, like,
February.
March.
Yeah,
Yep.
in March. Yeah, yeah.
Registration's open for just a little bit longer for the retreat, so don't wait because we're gonna close that down here in the next couple of weeks.
And for those of you that have signed up,
Thank you! We're so excited.
first of all, and more information is coming.
More information is coming, like how to sign up for classes. Let us know your dietary preferences, like that kind of thing.
Mid-February.
Yep, look for that by mid-February. Just getting all the back end stuff.
Well, we want to make sure of the registration, so I think because registration will be open till
about then, about middle of February, and then close down, and then
locked in,
ready to go. So that I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be super exciting.
Yes.
So excited. We do have a couple of alongs going. We have our Polar Arc along and
Obviously.
our Caitlin Hunter along, hence the project that Jen and I are both working on. I do have, and the temperature blanket.
Year long, the longest net along ever.
Yep. I do have threads up in the Ravelry group. Some people had already finished Polar Arc socks. So I was like, that's amazing. So there's already finished objects up in the FO thread. But, pop on over. People are chattering away. There's some really cool looking socks. I see a lot of woolens and Nosh yarn, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's funny, that pattern, and that's why Jenny gifted the pattern to us, is because she, so she'll be happy. There'll be lots of examples that people can share.
Yep.
She wanted to see how it worked with the really repetitive self-striping yarn.
It works fabulously.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So good. What a great pattern for that.
Yeah.
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 So fun.
Yeah,
Get
it is fun.
different.
Even with the extra math I'm having to do, it's still fun. Right. I have been enjoying it.
Because it's a different construction, and you're just like, this is intriguing. How is this working? Where are we going?
The only thing I don't, it's not intuitive to me yet, and I'm not sure it ever gets intuitive.
No.
I feel like it's like one line at a time, which is fine. It's completely fine. But some patterns, they get repetitive, and you sort of know what to anticipate in terms of how the increases are working. But
in the top down, when you're in the heel, yes, there is a level of, like, you can see the pattern developing, and there's a level of prediction from row to row. So there's a little bit of that when I was in the middle of the heel, and then definitely doing the arch of the foot. There is that. But it took a while because I was just like, I don't see what's happening.
Every
here.
row seems to be completely, well, not like every other row,
happening?
because one row is fairly straightforward, but the other row is. So I haven't seen that quite yet.
Yeah, super, super exciting.
Yeah, good though.
Fun times. I think that's about it. Really?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So thanks to everybody for commenting, joining our alongs.
Every now and then I read the comments.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm sorry. I should read them more often, but
some of them are fun.
Yes.
But thanks for.
I read them like every second or third time we podcast, so
Yeah.
that's why oftentimes you see like, oh, why did someone like my comment? Probably no one ever sees what I respond to.
I'll read them aloud when I'm posting the current episodes. I'm already on YouTube.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, is that I don't watch the podcast anymore
Mm-hmm.
because I'm in it.
Right.
and so I have to remind myself to go in, and I haven't been watching a lot of other podcasts recently.
Yeah,
So,
I don't either.
and even when you do, like, you go in and it's like automatically starts, and so unless I'm on my computer,
Right.
and I'm usually watching them on the television screen, so I'm not going to like the comment.
Right.
It's like going right into
the
sequential
video.
of where
Yeah.
I was, or whoever I was watching last or whatever. So
Yeah.
anyway, so I have to remind myself to open it up on my phone, which is kind of annoying sometimes, or on my computer. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I usually will hit them after this. So like after this episode's posted, it's not live yet because I'm doing links and moving things around, and discovered, I guess, this last time that I can't get my embed code anymore until the podcast goes live. So it stays hidden until Friday morning. But I can't pull the embed code that I need to put it on our website until it goes live. I used to be able to pull it no matter what. I don't know, some weird YouTube thing that's changed.
There's a lot of weird computer things that have happened in the last month. I don't completely understand.
It was real annoying.
It is. I got used to everything being very intuitive, like all around every computer thing. Like I feel like at work lately, I'm just like, really? Like, why is that not working anymore?
Don't even get me started on QuickBooks. Like I'm having a moment with some of the QuickBooks. So
I don't use QuickBooks at all.
Yeah. Be glad.
We use
Be glad that you don't.
But I do not, because I have other things I do for the store.
Is a jerk face.
And my things for the stores are like pictures and newsletters and pretty things, pattern making.
Mine's not.
Right. I do budgeting, some budgeting stuff.
Yeah.
So, yes.
But yeah, quick. Anyway, so I guess that's our sign that the lights have gone out.
It's a dark Monday night. Thank God for our mood lighting.
Our mood lighting over here. Otherwise, we'd be completely in the dark, like we were 2 weeks ago.
Right. Did you cut that out, or did you?
No, I left it in.
Great. People are like, "What happened? My screen is broken. Did I lose power?"
Right.
Hopefully, the fact that we kept talking during it was helpful.
No, it's listening to us stumble around trying to plug in a light.
I'm pretty sure we couldn't get up if we needed to today without killing ourselves.
I know, right? We are real in here.
Yes,
so
we have yarn wrapped around our legs practically.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So
cords.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming and hanging out with us. We'll see you hopefully in a couple of weeks back
I think
here.
we should be able to sneak one in before you go.
I think so too. I have to double check the calendar, but I'm pretty sure. And if not, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out how to make it happen. And then I will have some adventures to tell from Montreal, which will be exciting.
In Savannah, quick trip.
Yeah. So
May, Thursday. Get down on Thursday. I'm coming home Saturday night, actually.
Yep.
I know I should stay longer. It's a beautiful city. I've been there a couple times before. So.
Yep. So, all right. We'll see y'all soon.
All right. Thanks. Take care, everybody.
Bye. I'm going to turn it on. I'll see if I can trip over the cord because I brought the light over.
Right. We got quite a selection of tripping hazards.
We have a lot of tripping hazards over here right now.
I'm pretty sure that I would be fired as an architect if I presented this to anybody. What am I doing?
Our little setup here for
yes.
Yeah, it's pretty
sketchy is the word, and not in a sketchy good kind of way.
Right. So it's been a wild couple of weeks.
Oh golly, and this day has just been it's been one of those days.
So the day after Jen and I yarn cast last, which would have been a Tuesday, it was super snowy. We had like a snowstorm.
That was before I went to Florida, right?
Before you went to Florida.
Okay.
We had a snowstorm that
blew
in at the end of the day. And I think originally we were maybe supposed to get a couple of inches, and we ended up getting closer to 6, at least at my house.
No, we got at least 6, yes.
Yeah, so during the evening commute, it was snowing like crazy. So I'm driving down Route 7, And it was really cold. And the snow was really dry.
Yeah, it was nice snow, actually. Very powdery, lovely snow.
I'm setting the scene here. This becomes important.
Okay.
My windshield wiper iced up. And so I'm coming down the hill to where the traffic light is, where F5 Ferry Road comes in. And the light's red, so everybody's slowing down. And so I'm like, okay, here's my opportunity to snap my windshield wiper to get the ice off, because I'm not going, I'm almost stopped. So I put my window down, windshield wiper comes up, and I snap it. And as I snap it, it breaks off in my hand and then goes flying into the middle of Route 7 in a snowbank.
That's a messy part of Route 7, for those that don't know.
I'm not stopping. Like, it's super messy. So I have Hulk-handed my windshield wiper off of my car in the middle of a snowstorm. So I cannot use my windshield wipers at this point. Yeah. And I did have one smart-ass person be like, well, why don't you just pull over and swap the other one over? I have one of those cars that has like
Where are you going to pull over there?
I know there's no place to pull over, but my driver's side windshield wiper is 26 inches.
Right, mine are.
And my passenger side one is like 12. So that wouldn't have worked either.
Put it on the high defrost mode.
I figured out that if I did not stop, the snow wouldn't actually accumulate on my windshield because it was so cold out.
Yeah.
But don't you know that every traffic light in every place where I could have gotten stopped, traffic was stopped. And so I had to do this like defroster thing where I would like melt it and then like turn the defroster off, and it would freeze immediately, but it had like the liquid had cleared so you could see through it. It wasn't dark yet. If it was dark, I would have been like toast. Yeah. But it wasn't dark, so I could still see. Guys, I Hulk-handed my windshield wiper.
And so you were on your way home?
Was on my way home.
So you're probably 10 miles from maybe not quite, but still. Yeah. And it's like backcountry roads.
Roads. Where I can only hope that I don't get behind, like somebody gets stuck. So anyway, there's a really steep hill on a dirt road up to where my house is, and there was a car stuck on there. I was like, of course there's a car stuck there, right? So then I had to like back down and turn around. I was like, you know what?
And meanwhile, you get home and it's still not fixed. It's not like you have an extra windshield wiper lying around.
I don't so I have to like hope the next
morning. Was it just the
morning.
windshield wiper thing? It wasn't. You didn't like break the.
I didn't break the arm.
You didn't break the thing.
No. Like
still, Thank
God. I didn't bring my purse in, but I have the little plastic piece that clips into the little metal.
That happened to me
thing.
once, actually, too. Yeah, but I did it. I didn't rip it off.
Yeah.
But I did break it with the scraper. As I was about to drive to the airport at 4:30 in the morning, in 12 inches of fresh snow to catch a flight.
What I imagine in my head, the car behind me, right?
Is like,
because all you see is the window go down, my arm comes out, and it has to look like I just ripped that thing off the windshield wiper.
Or that you threw something big out of your car.
Right.
Which is very bad in Vermont.
Yeah.
Littering is not allowed.
So that happened.
So that very same night, my hairdresser, I had an appointment on Saturday, which she canceled.
Yes.
And rescheduled for that Tuesday night.
Oh, great.
At 5 o'clock or something. So at, I don't know, 2:30, of course, she starts texting me, can you come early? Is there a chance you can come early? And I was like, I'm kind of booked until 4.
Yeah.
I will do my best to leave early and come. Because I also am like, oh, my God.
Right.
But I'm leaving on Wednesday to go to Florida for 5 days. And I was like, I kind of need to get my hair done before I go. It's not a crisis, nothing. It's never a crisis. But so I left the office early. It's normally like a 15-minute drive, depending on traffic, because it's Williston to Essex.
Right.
It took me 45 minutes, I think, maybe. Yeah. It was unbelievable. It was ridiculous. School had let out early, like everything was
all
just
the after-school
complete.
stuff was canceled.
There was so many people. They were all going 3.5 miles an hour. The roads were actually not that bad.
Oh, they were terrible by the time I left.
They weren't that bad. There were just too many people. Yeah. So I finally get there, and she was I was thinking, oh, she's going to be cranky. And it was a long hair. It was a complicated. It wasn't
Yeah.
just like a boop, boop, done.
Right.
So, and I thought, well, by the time I leave here, it'll be 6:30, 7:15. By then, everybody will be home.
Right.
And no,
Oh.
it was good.
Oh, it was good?
Yeah, and by then the trucks will have been out to be able to plow. They can't
true.
really plow. It's snowing hard.
Right.
They can't plow while there's people all over the place.
Right.
And meanwhile, her husband had texted her that she lives in Fairfax, which is like half an hour north from there.
Yeah.
And he was like, it took me an hour and a half to get home. And so, of course, we're both imagining. So I said, when I left, text me when you get home because I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
I got home in the exact same amount of time it would normally take me, which
That's
is
amazing. Because
45 minutes.
Took me twice as long to get home that night.
But at
yeah,
4:30.
Yeah.
So at 6:30, the roads were not clear, but they were cleared.
Yep.
And it had it was still snowing, but it wasn't snowing as hard. There was no one around. Like everybody had
already
panicked and gone home at 3:30.
Yeah.
So she texted me. She actually got home before I did, which is a miracle because she lives a little further away. But anyway, she's like, I can't believe I made it home in the normal amount of time. Like, well, there you go.
Because what was happening is all the cars were driving on the
it's just a
road,
mess.
and so it was melting, which is what happens when cars drive. But it was so cold; it was like 20 degrees out, so it was like refreezing.
Yeah.
So like there was like ice and snow, and it was a mess.
It was kind of a messy storm, and partly because we've gotten very few snowstorms. Like that's even a snowstorm, but people were like, wait, we were supposed to get 2 inches of snow, and I'm looking out the window, and there's more than 2 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but today was not great. This morning,
No.
I got up this morning. I'm like, oh, look, a little bit of snow fell, and I left the house, and I was like, oh, ice pellets falling out of the sky.
Yeah, it's been.
I had to scrape
weird.
ice off my car, and I thought this was going to be a mess driving in.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
too
bad until I got to Williston,
Oh.
which it was the same exact temperature, which is like 32, 33 all the way in.
Yeah.
And it was on the freezing side of freezing, which, and when you drive in winter, you know what that means. It's like sometimes at 32 it's warm, sometimes it's freezing. Today was freezing. Situationally. So I go to pull into the driveway of my office, and my whole car just went whoop. And I was like, oh, that's a tree. That my car is just sliding right.
Wow.
A small tree.
Wow.
And so it stopped as it sort of came off the edge of the driveway. It's not like a big thing. So then I was like, ooh, okay. I've just driven 20 miles and haven't had a problem.
Right.
Although I did go up the highway instead of the back roads. And then I got myself straightened back out again. But now I have to drive like 20 feet and pull into my parking space. And I was like... So I get a little bit forward and I go to make the turn into my parking space, and the whole car just slides around again. I was like, oh, all right, I'm just going to slide into my spot.
You're like...
And then I was like, so do I get out of the car? Because clearly the driveway is solid ice. So I opened the door and I put my foot down, and I was still sitting.
Yeah.
But my foot was like, whoop, and I was like,
Huh.
how am I going to get in the building? And how did all these other people get in the building who were here before me?
Right.
So I walked into the building with one foot on the yard and one foot on the very slippery sidewalk. And so I got in there. I said to my receptionist, I'm like, she's like, what's going on? I'm like, it is like solid ice out there.
Ice rink out there.
So we went and got salt and salted it all down. And of course, 5 seconds later,
it was fine.
No, the ice did, but then 5 seconds later, the plow guy came in, and he's in his big pickup truck, and he like brakes a little bit, and he slid across the driveway and stopped. I mean, it wasn't terrible, like you could get a grip, but his truck definitely slid, and he gets out and he's like coming. I was like, might want to be careful. It's a little slick out there. I just salted the walk, and he's like, yeah, no, I could feel it, and he said, I've got a lot of salt, so I'll do whatever. But it was weird because, and this poor young guy in our office, he just graduated a year ago. He drives down from St. Albans, I think, or maybe north of there every day. So he gets all the way here, and our receptionist person was telling me that someone else had tried to make the turn onto the road adjacent to our office, and they went too fast and they went off the road. So he came and he was trying to avoid them, and he slid into the curb. And he ruined, like, the 2 tires on that side, which he then somehow drove his car to the nearest automotive place. But, like, one tire was at a 45. So it's like the tires, the rims, the brake line, he had to get his car towed to St. Albans. Yeah. He'll be working from home this week. Yeah, I felt bad for him. He's a young guy.
That's awful. But
Yeah.
it's been like
Especially
crazy.
'cause it's been
We've been in this little like banana belt zone where it's
Yeah.
just been raining in our section of Vermont, but like other
Also
sections,
freezing cold last weekend.
Yeah, other sections of Vermont have gotten ice, like super bad ice, like just
Yeah.
weird. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Snow, rain,
Snow,
ice.
rain, ice.
Last weekend, the weekend I was gone,
It was
it was
cold.
like -4.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
cold.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It wasn't all that warm in Florida. So
No.
I go down to Florida thinking, well, at least I'm going to have a couple days of, ooh, isn't this exciting? And I was like, okay, like maybe it's going to break 60. Maybe not. It's cloudy the first 2 days. We didn't have a lot of time because we had meetings, but
Yeah.
it was nice to not have to put on a coat and boots. I will say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I had a sweater on every day, and even outdoors, it was like in the evenings. It was like in the 60s, maybe. There were 2 days of sunshine, and so I took my one picture of the palm tree and the blue sky and the sun but I was shivering by the side of the pool.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna get in that pool, period. They had a lazy river and it was warm in the pool, so
Oh.
I had to get a little tropical something.
There you
We
go.
were not anywhere near the beach, so it
There you
was,
go.
yeah.
That's fun.
It was fine, and I came home and it was 10 degrees when I landed, so.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
And it's just been
But it was beautiful. It was beautiful, clear skies when it was cold, and the mountains were beautiful.
yeah.
It was lovely at the airport.
Yeah.
But
You know
yeah.
what's coming up in a few months too is the eclipse.
I know, I'm pretty excited about it, actually. Yeah,
We're in the path.
we are. You should come visit.
If you find a place to stay, because
right.
apparently
That's a problem now,
that's
probably.
going to be a problem.
It's a good thing we didn't plan our retreat for that weekend,
Oh, well, that one might have been real fun.
right? We would have had lots of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I, of course, had to go to White Plains last Wednesday, which was the rainy day.
Yeah.
It's nothing like driving in the rain for 10 hours. It was actually snowy in the morning. It was kind of a mess in the morning, actually. And then by the time we got a couple hours south of here, it was just rain. But it was just,
Yeah.
it literally rained all day. It was brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Blech.
Yeah. Anyway,
Blech.
welcome to weather in
Welcome
Vermont,
to
2023/4.
Wild weather.
Yeah. It's, yeah, I think there's mold growing in my lungs. That's why I'm still coughing.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to see the doctor tomorrow because I
You're
need
like,
to figure out what's going on.
why
Right.
am I still coughing? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was better at the end of last week, but it seems to have come back again. So
I feel like there's all kinds like strep throats going around. Like my kids haven't gotten it
I have
yet,
no
but,
other
like,
symptoms. except for
Everybody
that.
else is
Yeah.
strep throat, ear infections. Like,
Yeah. It's a dangerous place to live in this world.
fun with
very
the kids.
Sickly.
Lots of people with COVID. Lots of people with the flu. Like it's just dropping like
Yes.
flies.
Yes. My doctor has left the business that she was at and opened a new business. Apparently, I don't go to the doctor very frequently. She could have done it a year ago. I don't know. It's been a while since I've gone to see her. I don't have kids, so I'm not in
Right,
there
yeah.
very often. And the woman, the reception person, was like, "So, you'll have to take a COVID test." I was like, "I just had it, so I'm sure I'm fine." And she's like, "No, that's the protocol." I was like, "Okay, good, no problem. I got plenty."
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens tomorrow morning, but
Yeah.
it better not turn pink again.
Oh,
But
man. Right.
I'll let you know since you're sitting next to me.
Right.
here.
I mean, I was before too, so
Right. Yeah.
probably
So,
only get one pass like that though.
well, the problem, of course, is that there's more than one variant out there. So
Right.
that's,
So who knows?
Yes. Right.
Who knows?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's definitely been a weird January.
Yes, it has. Yeah. So, and we did not go to Vogue Knitting this past
We
weekend.
did not.
Lots of cool pictures.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was a great time.
Yeah.
For the folks that went.
Yeah. It looks like it. It was good.
Maybe, maybe next year.
I feel like that's one of those things. I know I've said this before.
every
Like
couple
I don't need
years.
to go every year.
Yeah.
I think it's like, yeah, it's different than Rhinebeck for me because it's a little bit more complicated to get there and it's more expensive and whatever. So,
Way more expensive.
I like being in the city, so I do like that, but I don't know.
I know. I mean, I had super good time with the food and the show and you know all that's not knitting related.
Right. I think every other year is probably a good frame for that.
Or every 3 years or something.
Right.
It's not...
Yeah. Right. Yeah, there might be other things. I like to try new things.
I mean, I just kind of figure it's an excuse to go to the city without my kids.
Right.
So,
I'm happy to enable that.
Right.
I'm always happy to go with someone. So
I know we need to. Maybe we should go to some of these other fiber festivals.
I know. I was thinking,
Maryland or some out west, overseas.
Let's go to Edinburgh.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yes,
that would be super sweet.
Yeah,
maybe
HHN, the big one, not the Chicago one.
Yeah,
the Cologne one.
Yeah, that would be fun too.
Yes, indeed. Talk about expensive.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, should we get a...
I was going to say, I don't think much of anything else has happened other than weather-related.
No, it's been like real wild weather. We've got lots of sports stuff going on right now, and then sports stuff getting rescheduled. So, like, the schedule is just, like, all over the place. So, tonight was clear. My kid actually has a basketball game tonight, but his squad's not playing.
Oh.
So, they have so many players, they divided them into 3 squads.
Oh, my God.
So, only 2 squads play per game. So it's an off night for him. So he's at the game, but just to cheer on his team.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so he's not actually playing tonight. So I didn't feel guilty about missing his game because he's not playing. So
I think that's a valid reason to not go.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So
I'm here, yarn casting.
Where you'd rather.
He is playing Wednesday in Rutland, and he's playing in Friday's game, which is in Montpelier.
But not the local one tonight. Is tonight local?
Tonight's at Mount Abe.
Of course.
Right? I can't go to the one on Wednesday because Abigail's got stuff going on. So somebody's got to deal with her stuff. So I'll probably go to Montpelier on Friday. But they're like...
fun.
it's like a 4:00 game or something. Like, right? Like, it's just like... It's like an hour away.
It's always so odd to me.
At 3.
Right. I was just going to say, I mean, it's like, I get why they schedule things the way they do. I really do. I remember being a kid, but as a working person, it's hard to really understand what they think is going to happen. Like, do they really think parents are going to, I mean, on a Friday, I guess maybe you could leave a little bit early and people will, but it's like, you still, and you know, we have the luxury. I don't have any children, so I don't have to do this. I have the
luxury of, for the most part, being able to
manage my own schedule.
Manage my schedule and leave early unless
but for like anyone else who has a normal 8 to 5,
right?
I mean, or a shift, or you know, or even if you run your own business, you have open hours like in a store or something. I mean, it's not that simple. But it probably never ever was either. But
no,
I don't know.
Anyway. So that's real
change that tonight.
Exciting. We're also getting ready because we're gonna go to Montreal for a few days for February break, which is coming up. So we're gonna go see the Canadiens game.
That didn't work. Oh, you have to be way up front for that one. You have to be way
up front for that one. See, it's a good thing I brought the light. Did we figure out? Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Right. We need like a basketball net over there. We can just
throw things.
Basketball net. The soft ones, of course.
Yeah. So we're gonna go stay for a couple, 2 nights. We're gonna watch a Canadiens game. We're staying at a hotel near Bell Center.
Awesome.
I have to figure out this car situation though.
Oh right. Yeah.
The studded snow tire thing. So haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
I guess you can't park in car parking garages in Montreal if you have studded snow tires on your vehicle. So,
first of all, you would think there'd be lots of people with studded snow tires in Montreal.
You would think.
Or at least coming in from outside in Canada.
I need to call the hotel and confirm that that's actually legitimate.
And or that someone might check.
Yeah, because if they're not, if they have valet parking, somebody will check. But,
right, clack, 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 clack.
Clack, 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 clack.
Yeah.
So I gotta sort because both of our vehicles have studded snow tires, so it's not like we can just.
Yeah. I have to go to Savannah, Georgia at the end of February, so it'll be.
So my solution, if that's a legit thing, is I'm not gonna deal with doing some crazy parking thing like parking somewhere else and then taking a train in or doing something. I'll just rent a car and just drive a rental car up there. Like I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Care at all. That seems way easier than trying to anyway. I'm gonna pay for a vehicle to pay to park it.
I know it does seem like there should be some sort of mass transit sort of thing that would be helpful, but there isn't really.
I mean, no. Not.
And you have to pay for 4 people's tickets, and it's
right.
just kind of, yeah.
I mean, if the train still went across the border, we would just take the train. But the train doesn't go across the border any longer. So.
Yeah.
And Greyhound has like super weird times. And was just like, that's not.
Yeah. Uber.
I know, right? I mean, I know some people that live up in like Enosburg. You should
go up there, park your car,
and take an Uber across. I mean,
can I park my car at the border? Hello, United States government.
I mean, one of the people up there was like, "I'll drive you to the airport if you fly out of Montreal." So I mean, like, we'd be like, "Can you drive me to the Bell Center area and like, come pick me up 2 days later?"
It's interesting. It'd be interesting to know whether it's more or less than renting a car because you don't need a car while you're there at all. Right?
No, we would.
So I wonder if there is a park and ride. There should be a park and ride. I think there's. Like surface parking. So there's got to be like
there is like outside of the city.
Yeah, and then just Uber in from there.
Yeah, see, that's just too many moving pieces for me. I would rather like rent a car and then just drive it to the hotel and like be done.
I think it's easy.
Yeah, but you do it with yourself. You don't have to do it with 2 kids.
But you
another adult.
You move your stuff from one car to one car, and then you get there, and then vice versa on the way back.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
That's a solution. Okay. I would suggest it. I think it's probably cheaper and easier.
Maybe. We'll see. I mean, I do drive a RAV4, and that is one of the cars that is like hot for getting stolen up there too.
Well, no, you have to make sure it's a secured or watched sort of spot.
They get stolen out of those lots too. But anyway.
All right.
Yeah. So part of me is like, I just gonna rent a car, and then if the car gets stolen, it's not my car. It gets stolen.
All right, I'm going to let you write your own story around that.
So find out how the Montreal trip goes in a few weeks. All right. Okay, let's legitimately get this going here.
Should we do something here?
We should. Yes.